Hello, hello, all my yarn lovers, all my fiber artists, and welcome to another Mondays with May. That's right. Okay, so if you're new to my channel, by the way, hi, my name is May. I love yarn, I love to knit and crochet. Those are my hobbies, and I also happen to have been born visually impaired, legally blind, and completely colorblind. So I mostly knit and crochet by feel. And today I'm going to be knitting with you. That's right, that's right. So say hello in the comment section. Let me know where you're from, right? Where you're watching from. And what it is that we're doing together today. What are you working on today while we're hanging out? Are you knitting a blanket too? Because guess what? I'm going to be knitting this blanket with you. So are you knitting a blanket? Are you crocheting a shawl? Are you starting your Christmas projects yet? Are you cleaning up your kitchen? Are you just like, trying to relax? I don't know, but I'd love to hear from you. So if you watch my Say Something Saturday video, right, where we're just like brainstorming, I'm just like going over like all the projects that are in my head right now. Way too many for me to work on all at once, right? I showed you, I said I still really want to work my Christmas blanket, right? And then I showed you the Lion Brand Big Scoop ice cream. Oh, that's so pretty. And so I was like, ooh, I want to do a baby blanket with that. Because that's so pretty. Well, guess what? I did start a baby blanket with it, and it is so pretty. I can't wait to share it with you. I can't wait to show it to you. Can't wait to work it on the channel. But remember what was right here next to me, what I'm working on right now, that I started all the way back in August. Yes, really. The sailboat blanket that I was so excited to make because I'd made it before years ago, and I'm like, oh, I really want to remake this blanket. So I started this in August, and it's now been sitting here for September. It got a little love in September, but not too much. And then October, I was like super focused on getting my little outfit done for Friday, right? My skirt, my socks, all the Halloweeny kind of stuff, the fall stuff. And so it got neglected, like forgotten. It became like a comatose whip, right? I mean, the thing was comatose. It was just like not moving, didn't get any love, didn't get touched, beyond like me, like shuffling it around and putting stuff on top of it, seeing what's buried underneath it, making sure I didn't lose the needles, right? I was like, woo, pick up those needles together, don't let it fall off the needles, right? So beyond that, it didn't get any love, and it just sat there for all of October. And so when I did the Start Something Saturday, I was thinking like, you can't actually like really get into this ice cream big scoop blanket until you finish your other baby blanket. I made that rule for myself, you guys. I really, really, really can't wait to get that ice cream blanket on here and to work it with y'all. Maybe it's so pretty, maybe we'll do it as a knit along. You guys want to do like a knit along with that one? We'll think about that, but I have to finish this one. So I've told myself that one doesn't show up here on the channel. I don't get to share it with y'all until this one is finished, okay? So I got a rule. I got some motivation now, right? I got some motivation to finish it, and I've actually got a lot of motivation to finish it because, well, if you are a returning viewer, you might have picked it up. You might have not remembered all the details of my life because, you got your own life, right? But this bed that we're sitting on, well, this is my guest bedroom. This is my parents' bedroom whenever they come to visit me, right? And well, guess what? It's November now. And so Thanksgiving, right, is coming up at the end of the month. And my mom and dad, they're coming to stay with me. They're coming to visit me. I'm pretty excited about that. So part of that means, though, that, they're going to want a bed to sleep in for a couple nights, right? This is their bed. So guess what? This bed has to get cleared off. Okay, it does. This bed has to get cleared off. I have to make room for them. They have to have a place to sleep, right? When they're here for a couple of nights. So, so this bed will get cleared off completely cleared off, all cleaned up. This room will get cleaned up, tidied up. All this stuff is gonna have to get like all my crafting stuff's gonna have to get put away. I gotta totally clean up stuff, and so I'm like, okay, this blanket is gonna have to leave this bed, right? And if I take it off the bed for the last week of November for my company, and then I come back here in December, y'all know, right? It's gonna be like Christmas stuff is on, and all that, and then this blanket would just languish, right? I'd probably pack it away. I'd probably like pack it away somewhere in a box, and who knows how long it would be before I finished it. That's just a fact, y'all. It is. That's a fact. So I would like move it off the bed, and it would go somewhere in a box, and I'd be like, oh, it's Christmas stuff. I'm gonna make my Christmas blanket. Because I do want to try to make a Christmas blanket. I don't know if I'm gonna be successful at that this year, because now I'm like onto the ice cream blanket. So all of a sudden, right? I did start something Saturday, all the way back in August, I think. And I was like, what are you doing? It's too hot, right? Because it was like, no way I was going to work on a blanket in August here. It's hot here. It's hot. So it was like, in the 90s for days. And so I was like, no blankets at all. No blankets. So I was not into blankets because I was too hot. Well, guess what? Now I'm definitely into blankets. It's blanket weather for me, for sure, for sure, for sure. So that's definitely what I'm doing now. I'm all up into the blankets, into them. So I want to get this one finished. I want to get the ice cream one done in November so I can start a Christmas blanket. Will I start the Christmas blanket before I finish the ice cream blanket? Maybe. Maybe. I can't say. So I get that excitement. You guys get excited when you start a new project. I do. So definitely, I was like, if you're gonna clear off this bed anyways and get ready for company, then that blanket has to become your priority. So that's what I'm doing today, y'all. So I am, and if you missed it or you forgot, this blanket is being worked up in the Knit Picks We Crochet Brava Bulky, a 100% machine washable acrylic yarn. So great for blankets. And if you're colorblind or visually impaired like myself, the color is called Tranquil, and that's why I shop at Knit Picks and We Crochet, because they have the best color descriptions on the internet. And so they describe it as like a blue-green, like the ocean, like the deep blue-green ocean. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I sent a screenshot to my sister, and she's like, that's pretty green. That's more green. I would definitely say that's more green. So that's interesting. It could be her screen. Could be my screen. I took the picture. I don't know. I got no idea. But either way, right? Either way, she says it's more green. So what do y'all think? Is it green? Is it blue? What does it look like to your eyes? Yeah. I don't know, but that's what I'm doing this week. I'm like, this is it, man. Get this done so you can start focusing on the other stuff that you talked about on Start Something Saturday, right? Because I'm all about like finish it Friday, knocking out something, and then we want to start something for the month, right? New themes, new colors, new ideas. And so I'm like, this is it. So anyways, so that's my goal for the week, is to get this thing done and out of the way so I can actually move on to those other projects. So that's what I'm doing. But I want to hear from you. And also, you know what? I want to I do want to hear from you. Like, what's on your needles and what's on your hooks? But also, I really want to thank, it's November now, and I want to thank all y'all who stuck it out with me for Blindness Awareness Month in October, okay? I do. I always want to thank my viewers. It means so much to me that when I say choose, I mean choose, that you choose to come back. And I got choices of only a million other things out there to watch, right? Between cable TV. Is cable TV even a thing anymore? I don't even know. I got satellite, direct TV, which I don't even watch. I got Amazon Prime, right? And then through my satellite, I get like that Paramount Plus and all that kind of stuff. So, and then there's YouTube, right? There's anything. There's crafters, there's movies, there's music. So you choose to come out and hang out with me. And so I definitely always want to thank my viewers, and means a lot to me that you do come out here and you say, hey, let's hang out for a little bit. Let's craft together, right? or whatever we're doing together. Let's clean together, whatever. We're just hanging out. So that means the world to me. So I knew, okay, I knew that was going to be controversial on a yarn channel. I did. I did it anyways because I feel like the education's important, but I debated over whether I should even talk about it. I'm like, I'm going to talk about it and then somebody else is going to leave. But I did look. I don't pay attention to my subscriber numbers and all my stats very often because I'm like, nope, stay focused on your craft, do your thing, right? Do your thing, head down, go to work, craft every day, learn every day, design, think, create every day, stitch every day, do your thing, and don't worry about the numbers, right? So that's kind of where my mindset has been at, and not to look at the numbers. But I did make a point of checking them out a few times because I knew people would leave. So like the very Monday, I think it was the last Monday in September, I did look at my subscriber count, and I'm like, okay, because I know I'm going to talk about this and people are going to leave. And sure enough, like people left, right? They're like, nope, out of here, just here for the yarn. So lost some subscribers. It was like, okay, whatever, we'll just keep doing this, right? We'll just keep doing this. So I didn't want to put too much blindness awareness stuff in there. And then what did I say last Monday? I said, so I told the story about my guide dog pooping at the Haunted Mansion, right? And I knew that was going to be offensive. I knew somebody was going to be like, oh my God, right? Mm-hmm. That very morning, so I checked my subscriber count because I'm like, this is going to offend somebody, right? This is going to offend somebody. Somebody's going to be bothered by a poop story. A guy dug it. So I did check my subscriber account number that day again because I was like, oh, yeah. And yep, that very morning, lost a subscriber. So I was like, yep, I knew it. Somebody was going to be so offended and so bothered by that. A week later, they're still clutching their butt cheeks going, oh my God, poop. I can't even do that anymore. I'm like, let it go. So anyways, but whatever. I'm back here to talk about yarn with y'all, talk about all the yarny things, right? Now, of course, I am visually impaired, so that's my life, right? So I'm still going to talk about the visual impairment stuff. I mean, I could tell you more Halloween stories about being visually impaired too. I don't know though. I'm like, So also, I knew it was going to happen too because it's a yarn channel and some people are definitely only here for yarn. But I knew, I think it was 2022, I did Blindness Awareness Month on Facebook, right? And I did every single day of the month of October. I made a post for Blindness Awareness Month, educating, talking about things, sharing stories, educational topics, different things. And I lost a bunch of friends that month. That month alone, I think over 20 people left my Facebook page. They're like, no, I don't want to read this, right? So I knew it was going to be controversial. That's one of the reasons why I definitely made a point of checking on my subscriber numbers during certain times on YouTube, was because of what happened on Facebook. And that was the only year that I did that. I'm like, what? I mean, not that I care a lot about Facebook. I actually care a lot more about YouTube. Honestly, I do. I really prefer YouTube over Facebook, but in fact, I'm on Facebook so little anymore that I have been on YouTube for over 8 months, and I'm so focused on watching videos and learning from other designers and focused on stitching and my own projects and designing and crafting and researching and finding interesting yarns and researching the yarn sales and doing the yarn sale videos and all that. So I'm so focused on that I spend very little time on Facebook anymore. Very little time. And so, but I haven't gotten rid of it because I have friends that are there that have, been my friends since day one, since I was literally like a baby, like my childhood bestie. But guess what? She's over here now. So now I'm like, do I need Facebook anymore? Because she's over here and she watches, not gonna shout her out because I don't have her permission, but she does watch here. So I'm super, and she crochets, super crocheting longer than me, so I'm super excited to have her here. But I have still other people, like people from all walks of life that are over there. So, but I've just been so absorbed in like my creative process and, like learning and doing and reading and studying and, just trying to like create, that I am rarely on Facebook anymore. Just, beyond to like check on certain things and certain people. And so I have just kind of like neglected it. And it did not even occur to me that I was like, I never said anything over on Facebook. I never said anything over on Facebook about what I'm doing, that I started a YouTube channel. Like, what in the world, right? Like, what in the world? What in the world? So I didn't do that. I didn't say anything over there. And so it's been 8 months, and I'm like, maybe you should say something over there and let your people know why you've been really absent, right? Why you haven't been there anymore. And so I did. And I want to say it was the last week of October. I feel so long ago already. I made a post over there and was like, hey, this is what I'm doing. And I posted some pictures of some of the stuff that I designed over the summer with y'all. I'm like, I'm just, I'm creating. I'm busy. Like 200 videos ago, I started this thing. 8 months ago, started this thing. And so I was just like, maybe I should update them. Maybe I should let them know. And so I heard from a lot of people. A lot of people commented on my pictures, and some of them even said they subscribed. So thank you to my Facebook people for showing up over here and subscribing to my channel. That's cool. So I'm happy to have you. So a huge shout out, hello, and thank you to every single viewer, but also all of my new subscribers. That's very cool. Makes me very happy, because I said it before. That's what YouTube, I try not to worry about it, but that is what YouTube cares about in terms of whether or not we're ever eligible for income off of YouTube. Is they want to watch our subscriber numbers. So that's important to them. So at some level, I have to keep that in the back of my mind. But I'm really I care about my viewers. And so I just want to make, content that's interesting to y'all, that's fun, that's educational. I want to find you fun yarns. I want to teach you the things that I know, right? This is such a gift to be able to teach people. So it's such a privilege too, to be able to pass on the knowledge and help other people. So I went into mental health because I genuinely wanted to help people. So guess what? I'm not practicing anymore. So at least I'm here. So anyways, though, like, let me know how your weekend was for Halloween, right? How was it? Did you do anything fun? Was your weekend fun? Did you do anything fun? Did you do anything special? Did you dress up? Did your kiddos dress up? Anything like that? Did you take kids or grandkids trick-or-treating? What kind of costumes did you have? I want to know what kind of costumes did you make? Did you make a costume? Did you buy a costume? Or did you just pass out candy at your house? I want to know those things. So did you go to a party? Did you go to a party? It's okay if you did. Nothing wrong. Like I said, I went to plenty of Halloween parties in my 20s. Boy, did I. Made the circuit, made the rounds. So if you're doing that, that is totally okay by me. You do you, right? I'm not here to tell anybody else. As long as you're not harming anybody else, I'm not here to tell you how to live your life or what to do or whether to celebrate or not. So, but I had my Finish It Friday video, right? You guys, did you see my Finish It Friday video? The spiderweb top is complete. And then I had a surprise. The Arachnid's Curse coat. Yeah. I didn't say a word, y'all. I was like, boy, it's iffy whether this thing is gonna get done. I doubted myself. I'm like, that's a big project. That's a big project. So I was truly skeptical of my own abilities to even complete it, much less get it done in time for Halloween. So that's just the reality of it. So I didn't say anything until Friday for Halloween, and then I'm like, well, it's gonna show up, it's gonna make it. So I'm super excited about that. But beyond that, right, I've just been making videos. I did not I did not go anywhere, did not leave the house, didn't go into town. You guys know I live miles and miles from town. Oh, not miles and miles, only a couple of miles. But you know, when you don't drive, it's miles and miles. When you're looking at walking with a white cane on the side of a highway, it's miles and miles. So, and it's not really. I used to be able to walk for miles. I used to walk that distance, you know, twice a day in Portland with my guide dog, with Rosie. We fly through the city of Portland, so it isn't actually that big of a deal. But with my white cane on the side of a highway, it's you know, it's daunting. And then I'd be lugging back groceries or something like that, or getting an Uber, which, you know, that kind of a thing. So I went nowhere. I was at home, stitching away, making videos. And of course, like I said, I live in a really, really rural place, really rural. And so, you know, like I hear cows, right? I hear cows and chickens and turkeys and ducks, and that's what my neighbors have, which are cool neighbors. So, and of course, right, the Friday video, you hear the Target shooting. That's common in rural America. And I was debating, honestly, I was so distracted during that video because in my head, I'm having the whole conversation of, do I pause the video and wait for people to stop Target shooting? Do I restart, just redo everything, right, when they're not Target shooting? I just don't, you know, it's like, but with the daylight, right, we're losing daylight where I live fast, and so I like to try to film, even though I've talked about it before. It's hard for me to film in the daytime right now because my eyes, right, I'm light sensitive, I'm photophobic, I can't, it's just hard, it's painful for me to even open my eyes in the daylight. So it's hard for me to film in the daylight and try to look at the camera and all that. So it's hard for me, but I also know it's the natural lighting. I know that's much better for you as a viewer. Like, I'm aware of that works out better for you. So I'm totally, my mom tells us, like the number one thing my mom will say when she watches a video, it's dark. If my mom watches one of my videos, that's the feedback I get on the phone. It's dark. It's really dark. You're too quiet. So I'm aware of that for sighted people, that all y'all are like, you know, you want some light. You want to see what's happening. So I don't want to try to put off my recording too late in the day anymore because we don't have too much daylight left, y'all. Yeah. So I'm really aware of that too, trying to record at the right time for you guys to see, because that's what it's about. You guys want to see it. So it's not just about me, right? I got to have viewers, and my viewers got to stick around. It got to be interesting for them. So I was like, if I wait, it's going to get too late in the day, and then they're not going to have, because sometimes I might record in the evening, though, still, like, especially like what I'm doing today. I'm just chatting and stitching. Like, you're probably just stitching too. You're stitching and listening, right? So you're probably actually looking, you know, if you're visually impaired like myself, then you're probably not really looking at the screen. You're focused on your craft. And if you're sighted and you're stitching, you might be looking at your stitching. So this is the kind of video where I probably can do still in the middle of the night if I want to even, right? So, but things like where I want you to see what I'm looking at, what we're talking about, those kinds of things, I know it's nice for y'all. So but having the whole debate in my head of like, should I pause? Should I start over? And then the Mr. is like Mr. Property Owner, right? And he was like texting me, and so I was like, oh gosh, here we go, you know? So, I just knew that it was like there's so much going on in my head, and I was feeling rushed in the video, just like I was for my Sunday video. Same stuff, not the shooting, but the same stuff of him texting. And so I just feeling super rushed in the Finish Your Friday video. And so I didn't get all the details out, y'all. I didn't get all the details out. So let me know what you think about the Arachnid's Curse coat. Did you think it was cool? Like, are you like, that is really cool? Did you think it was weird? Did you think it was creepy? So I just loved the challenge of making it, right? As somebody who's really trying to develop my crochet skills, I was like, this is pretty cool, right? And so I'm debating, because I don't even know if I said in the video, I was so distracted. I made size 2 on that, the second size for me, at 5'4.5", 120 pounds, and it drags on the ground. And so I'm like, I need to make this shorter. And so, but there's a couple of things I want to talk about that video, about that arachnid's curse is, I might yet make it again because I want to see if I can make it shorter, right? That's going through my head. I mean, so who knows? Maybe we'll make it again next year, and I'll actually try to make it so it doesn't drag on the ground. I mean, that would be nice. So, because if I were to ever actually wear it anywhere, I don't want it to get dirty, and then plus I don't want to trip on it. I don't want other people to trip on it. So if I was ever gonna make something like that and actually wear it beyond to, like, you know, dance around my house in, I would want to make it shorter. So that was something I wanted to talk about during that video on Friday, was like my thoughts on it. And my first thought I wanted to share with y'all is I don't know that I got gauge, okay? And that, I think, could have been part of my issue too, is I don't think I got gauge. So that, I think mine is too big, and that's an odd thing for me, because what do I say? I crochet really tight, and that's been a problem for me, is that I crochet really, really tight, and I did use the exact yarn, ordered it from Hobby in Denmark, the exact yarn, and the exact 4.25 millimeter hook, right? So I followed this was a pattern where May followed the instructions. I did, and that's unusual, right? Usually I go rogue and I'm like, no, I want to do this with it, I want to do that with it, but I knew with crochet I needed to learn, and so I was like, follow the instructions, and this is complicated, so so I did. And so now one thing I could have done was drop the hook down to 3.75, but I didn't want that. Is too small for me to work by feel. So but because, okay, when I first started crocheting, I crocheted a couple of cotton doilies, right? I did my first pineapple doily, and then like I did like a heart doily, and both of those, my gauge was so tight that they spiral, okay? They pull and they spiral and they lean. Now I can block and block and block those, like block them, pin them, stretch them out, pull them out the other way, and I think I could really block the lean, right? Block the lean out of my doilies. I think that's a real possibility for me. So I think I could do that on those doilies. But what I learned from that is, right, when you're doing, and I think part of that was my gauge was just super, super tight, because in part it was how I was crocheting, right? It was how I was crocheting, and I was just really new to crocheting, and so I like my tension. A lot of people say when they're new to crochet, their tension's tighter because you're kind of tense, because you know you're kind of stressed, right? Because you're doing something new, and so my tension on those was really tight. My gauge was really tight. And so, but because those really spiraled, I was super focused. When I was making that spider web, I'm like, I am going to make this big old coat, and what I don't want my spider web to do is spiral. So that was in my head. Every single chain, I'm like, you do not want this thing to spiral, mate. Otherwise, you're going to have to rip it out and redo everything. That was all up in my head. I'm like, this thing is going to spiral, and you're gonna have to do the whole thing again. So so I intentionally worked that up loosely. Okay, I did. I was like, nope, make your chains loose, make everything loose, right? Make everything loose so that it does not spiral. And so I think that's actually what happened, is I actually crocheted too loose on a project. What? So, and of course, when you do that, right, for several rounds on treble crochets, right, on treble crochet V-stitches, it's gonna get pretty big. When you think about getting off gauge row after row on trebles, which are big stitches anyways. So, you know, that is something that I think was my issue. So I think my gauge was off on my initial spider web quite a bit. So that is something for me to keep in mind if I ever want to remake that with, no, I don't want it so tight that it spirals, but at the same time, right, I don't want it so loose that I'm not getting gauge. So it's very, very possible that if you make a size 2 and you're my size, if you're 5'4.5", that yours might not drag on the ground, okay? That might be a me thing. So, but I do have other thoughts too on where I could shorten it, right? Like where I could possibly take some things out, especially on the sleeves. The sleeves are too long on me too, and I could definitely know where I could take out some rows on the sleeves. The body of it, I definitely would have to think about some more and really, really pay attention to that in terms of where I could take out some rows. But I do know that I could. When I was looking at it and reviewing it, I was like, so I meant to say all of that on Friday, y'all. I meant to, all that on Friday. But it was like, oh, look, they're shooting. Is it now? Is it later? Oh, I'm getting a text. Oh, somebody needs something. The mister needs attention. What's going on, you know? So it was like chaos, right? All happening at once, which tends to happen in my life. And so, but today, I'm like super pleasantly surprised that, you know, thus so far, nobody is texting me. So, right, to knock on wood, right? Which got wood right behind me, could do that, but I'm too busy stitching. I'm busy stitching right now. I'm focused. I'm dialed in on getting this blanket done, y'all. Getting this blanket done. That's where we're at today. I'm like, nope, nope, nope. I ain't even got time to knock on wood. This blanket is the focus. This thing is getting done so I can get on with other projects. And that can be the thing about blankets. Like, does that happen to any of y'all? Does it? Where you're like, you get excited to start a blanket, right? A blanket. But then blankets are big projects. And blankets can take months, literally months to work on. And what happens then? We get excited and we want to move on and we got other ideas and we see new things and we're like, oh, I want to do that, I want to do that, I want to do that, I want to do that. And then, you know, the initial excitement of the blanket has worn off. And that's where I was at with this blanket for a long time. I was like, the excitement's worn off, you're interested in other blankets now. And so if I don't want this thing to, like, you know, go into storage somewhere, then I have to make it a priority. And I want this done. I'm like, nope, I want this done. And so, but does that happen to you guys? Like when you're working on a project, do you get like a big project, like a blanket, like a long-term project? There's nothing wrong with having long-term projects. There's nothing wrong with having blankets and sweaters, right? Sweaters and coats and cardies and big stuff or small stuff, y'all. I knit lace, right? Do you remember the vine laced scarf that I started? Remember how long that took me? And that was just a scarf, but it's lace weight. It is the lace weight aloft super kid mohair, so mohair lace size 0, right? This yarn weight is 0 on your lace weight and then the mohairs are even finer and thinner than some of your other lace weight yarns. And so anything that you're doing on a size 0 yarn, like a lace weight yarn, with a pattern like that, with a lace pattern, right, where you're having to do some, you know, your shaping and all that, that took me months. And so that was also one of those projects where I was like, I got excited about it initially, and I was like committed to, I told myself on that one, I was like, 4 pattern repeats a day. If you just do 4, and it's a 4-row repeat on that pattern on the vine lace. So I'm just like, it's 4 rows. It's only a scarf. That's only 16 rows a day, right? And so it's not that wide. And so I was like, that's not that much. You can do it. You can do it. You can. And then I lost interest and I, you know, neglected it for days at a time. And I was like, it didn't get touched today. I was working on other stuff. And the same thing happened. My excitement, my enthusiasm. If you miss that scarf, it's one of those scarves that you make half of it and then you put it on hold and you make the other half and then you 3-needle bind off the 2 halves together. It's knit. And so I was like all excited with the first half, and I made the first half really long, and then I was like, oh May, you gotta make the second half just as long. Like, what were you thinking making the first half so long? What were you thinking, right? What were you thinking? So, do you ever do that with a project like that? And you're like, what were you thinking? Why did you decide to do that? So, that was going through my head with the second half of that scarf. I feel like the second half just drug on forever. So that happened to me, and I lost my enthusiasm, lost my excitement for it. And then I was like, oh, I was getting ready to go home, I think, for the summer. I was having the same thing. Was like, you're going home, like your dad's you're gonna have company, right? You're gonna have company. And you know, your dad's gonna end up staying the night in this room. That was like when I went home for the summer. I had to have this bed cleared off because I knew my dad was gonna be sleeping in this bed when he brought me back up here. And so it's like the bed's gotta get cleared off, right? And so that scarf is gonna, if you don't finish it now, it's gonna get packed away. It's gonna get packed away, and then you're never gonna touch it again. And so I had the same experience with it. So I was like, boom, this thing's getting done. And then I just hit it, and I was like, it's getting done. And so I finished it. So that was good motivation for me. So you know what? I have company like twice a year up here, you know, with my parents. I see them in the summertime and for Thanksgiving. And so I'm like, maybe it's a good thing that like twice a year I'm gonna have to clear this bed off for them, for my daddy or for my mama, and my mama's coming up this time. So I'm like, twice a year this bed's gotta get cleared off, which means all the projects, we're gonna have to make decisions about projects, right? Like what's here, what's gonna get finished, what isn't, what's gonna get frogged, right? That top that I talked about, it was under the blanket. Okay, top was under the blanket, the blue top, and it's still there, and it's still sitting there on cord. So we might, who knows, we might be doing a Frog It Friday, y'all. We might be frogging it, ripping it in November if I can't, because I think I'm just, as much as I want to try to make that style of top, I do, and I actually don't think my stitch count was really off. I am like, you know what? Scrap it for now. You can always try that again later on. You can do that again later on. But you're not there anymore. Mentally, you don't even remember what you're doing anymore on that. So, and that's what happens when you design, especially if you're me and you don't take notes, right? Then you're like, huh, I wonder what I was doing there. I wonder how I did that. Huh, interesting. So I'm pretty sure that's gonna get frogged. But the blanket, the decision has been made, which is the name of one of my videos when I was working on this blanket, because I was still trying to decide if I wanted to make it into a plain blanket or a sailboat blanket. And so I was like, this thing is getting done. One way or another, it's getting done. So that's what we're here doing today. I'm actually finishing up another purl row. I can't believe I left it on a purl row. I'm like, because I'm slower at purling. I just am. I'm slower at purling. So, but we're gonna do it. I purled the first row with y'all. We knit a row that goes by much faster for me. And now I have to do a second purl row, but I am gonna end with this row. So, anyways, I want to hear from you though. So I did not do anything special for my weekend at all. Sunday afternoon, you guys know I pre-record so that I can like drop my videos right on overnight, because my internet's slow. My internet is slow. So that's Verizon, and so I didn't do anything special at all. Just kept right on stitching, kept right on making videos. Watch church. I do watch church on YouTube. I can't drive into anywhere for a church or anything like that. So I watch church on YouTube too, which I love that. So that's very nice. And I watch church in New Jersey. All the way out. And that's the cool thing about YouTube, right? Is the world is like at our fingertips. That's so cool. I'm like, the world's at our fingertips. And so, like, the small town that is close to me, there's only a few churches, and I really was unimpressed with them. I was like, nah, you know. At that time, too, when I was living in town, I was not at all interested in church at all. So, you know, but when you're out here alone, right, when you're out here isolated, right, then you're like, you have time to start reflecting on things in life. And so, so I ended up I watch a couple of different churches on YouTube, but the one that I watched today is from New Jersey, all the way out in New Jersey, and I get to watch them live. So I watched church in New Jersey, Love of Jesus Family Church, Pastor Jason Alvarez. He's a Cuban immigrant, came here as a child, Cuban immigrant. and just a very real 73 now, but he's just a real human being who knows how to preach, but also just knows how to speak to people, right? He's like, I'm from the streets. That's what he'll tell you. I'm from the streets, right? And I'm talking about the days when he used to play music in bars, you know, and how he used to curse so much. Like, he's real, right? He's real. And so even today at 73, he's preaching sometimes, and he's like, forgive me, I almost cursed. And I love it. I'm like, he's so real, because, you know, that's me today. I'm like, oops, sorry, yeah, there's words flying out of my mouth still. So that's what I did for my weekend. Nothing special at all. Nothing special at all. So anyways, I'm gonna finish this up and then I'm gonna go, but say hello, let me know what you did, and let me know how your weekend was, and I'm gonna finish this up. But you know what we have to finish up with, right? Creativity is for everybody, whether you see or you see like me, which is not in color and not in the day, or you don't see it all. Creativity is for you. And whether it's knitting or crocheting or sewing or quilting or beading or sculpting or painting or weaving or carving or whatever it is that you do, today it's a great day to craft and create. Hey, look at this, y'all. We are getting it done. We did 3 rows today. I'm going to be super, super careful that this thing doesn't fall off the needles, y'all. So that's what we're working on today. That's what we got. So thanks so much for joining me. I hope you all are well. Hope you got some stitching done. Let me know if you're like, I'm making that arachnid's curse, right? For next year. And let me know what your plans are for crafting this month. Okay, my friends. Well, I am gonna go. So gotta put these needles up here where I don't accidentally pull it off the needle. So until next time, happy stitching and bye bye for now. Alrighty.